It's May 24. I'm Ezra Levant, and you're watching Battleground. Oh, hi, everybody. Great to see you again. I'm Ezra Levant. I'm the Rebel Commander here at the Rebel Media. Rebel Commander is just a fancy way of saying president. Every week at 12 noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, I do a 1-hour live stream on YouTube where I take your chats. It looks like we've got 360 folks already. I think folks are excited about one of the subjects we love to cover, and I think we're becoming a little bit known for our coverage of Tommy Robinson. I'll just kibitz a bit while folks sign in. As you know, Tommy Robinson is the working class hero from Luton who started the EDL, renounced the EDL when it became racist, has fought with the British state. They've stitched him up 10 different ways. But over the course of time, he's become a very thoughtful and forceful advocate for British values and a free speech advocate and, not surprisingly, a target of censorship. He's recently been deplatformed by Facebook, Twitter, PayPal, the like. He worked for us here at the Rebel for about a year, but of course I like to say Tommy's lightning in a bottle. He's not really built for having a boss. So we ended amicably, and as you know, about 3 months after that, he was arrested by a squad of cops, thrown in the back of a police van, and within 3 hours was in prison. He was sent to prison for 13 months for contempt of court. We here at the Rebel crowdfunded his release. Got him out of prison after 10 weeks where he was in solitary confinement. He lost 40 pounds during that period, more than 3 stone, as they say, 3 stone, as they say in the UK. And in the latest chapter in this fascinating story, Tommy Robinson is running to join the European Union Parliament. He's running to be an MEP, Member of the European Parliament. Could you put savetommy.co.uk up? He only made the decision to run, I'd say, less than 2 months ago. And he had a great run, I think. I mean, this is my observation from over here in Canada. I did see Tommy a couple weeks ago when he was at another court date for contempt of court in London, the Old Bailey. But he's run a real campaign. Yeah, just scroll down, show folks what it's like. You know, he's got videos, he's got campaign memes. Now, I should tell you the election is over. The election was yesterday, May 23rd. So you're probably saying, well, who won? Did he win? Well, that's what puzzles me as a foreigner, is that, look at all these are campaign videos. Tommy, of course, using his skill as a video journalist that he honed to some degree with us. Send them a message they'll never forget. Join the movement. Donate to Tommy's campaign. Contact the campaign. Upcoming events. Well, of course, those events are now in the past. The election happened. They are not releasing the results until Sunday night. Sunday, May 26th. And again, I find this odd as a Canadian, and maybe my American friends feel the same way, but they're not releasing it in like a public ceremony. From what I understand, again, I'm far away and I'm new to this, so correct me in the comments if I get it wrong. They're announcing the results sort of in a closed room, just the candidates and 1 or 2 people from their teams. But nonetheless, I find this result very interesting, not just to Tommy and his friends and fans and the UK, but I think people around the world are curious about this. So we will be having a 3-hour election results night show on Sunday night. So I understand, and again, I'm new at this, so things might change. We're trying to learn. On Sunday night at 11 p.m. British time, GMT as they say, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the results are expected to be announced. And it'll just be blurt, here's the announcement. So we're going to have an election night special, and we're going to start it a couple hours early, 9 p.m. GMT, which is 5 hours time zone difference from Eastern time. So I'm in Toronto here in Canada. So we'll start the show at 9 p.m. GMT, 9 p.m. in Manchester. I'm going to Manchester, which is, what's the math on that, fellas? 9 over there is 4 p.m. here in Eastern time. And if you're in Calgary, that's 2 p.m. If you're in LA, that's 1 p.m. So 9 p.m. British time, will start. And what do I mean by a show? Well, we've done this before for other elections. In fact, just last month we had a great election night show for the election in Alberta, Canada. So I'm going to Manchester, and Jessica S., who's our student journalist, do you want to put some Jessica B-roll up just while I'm talking, and we'll play a Jessica vid. Jessica has been embedded on the campaign trail for the last almost 2 weeks, and she's done a great job. Tommy asked me to come over. I just couldn't go for the whole campaign. I got duties here. But Jessica did a great job. Yeah, that's Jessica there. Did you vote today? She asked folks in Manchester, and most of the Mancunians, she asked. She was in a student area, just plain old didn't vote. They didn't even know what she was talking about. And fair enough, most people don't know what the European Parliament is. Hey, can you find the Jessica interview with the Antifa folks who sort of swore at her? Can we cue that one up? Do you know what I'm talking about, Justin? I'll show you another great video. Jessica's done, I'm going to say 20 videos, maybe 25 videos. And we put them all, if you want to put a compilation page up just on the screen, we put them all up at TommyReports.com. So if you're curious about the campaign and need to catch up, you can go to TommyReports.com. Now, Jessica is just super. She's still a student journalist. In fact, she came to us right out of journalism school and I think has to get some work credits or something here, but we'd love for her to stay on. I think she did a whale of a job over there in the UK. We just threw her in the deep end. I mean, really. Talk about a stressful assignment. I mean, covering news is exciting and fun, but there was actually physical violence targeting Tommy's campaign, as you surely know. Let me know when you get those vids ready. We got it ready? Okay, so stand by. So we're talking about the streeters with the antis? Okay. So actually, not only did we have to pay for her flight and accommodation over there, but we had to crowdfund for a personal bodyguard. And you're thinking, oh, come on, that's crazy. No, it's not actually. There were riots, there were stones being thrown, not just milkshakes. There was all sorts of violence, and police, on several important occasions, did nothing. So we had to, I mean, there's just no way we were going to send Jessica into an Antifa riot without a big bodyguard. So a lot of times, so we'll start with, I want to show you some of Jessica's interactions, and that video you just mentioned to me, Martin, let's just play. I just want to show our people Jessica in action, doing her best. I said to Jessica, I said, follow the facts wherever they lead, so just ask people questions, just who are you, what do you stand for? Like, just really make it simple, do simple basic journalism, the mainstream media over there doesn't do. Like, being a journalist is not a fancy profession, people. I didn't go to journalism school. Being a journalism, look at the root of the word. It's just what happened today. Jour, it's French. You're making a journal. What happened today? Here's what happened today. You don't have to go to school to know that. You just have to have a basic sense of curiosity and a little bit of fair play in you. Who are you? Why are you here? Who are you? Why are you here? Okay, you said that. What do you mean? What do you mean? What does your sign mean? Where you come from? Just extremely simple who, what, where, why, when. You don't have to, we're not talking rocket science here, but the mainstream media would not even do those basic who are you questions. So Jessica, just with very straightforward journalism, did better journalism on Tommy's campaign than any of the elite legacy media in the UK. And I want to show you, like part of her standing orders over there was talk to the Tommy people, do a good sit down with Tommy. She did a great interview with Tommy. It was almost an hour long. But I said, also talk to the haters, because that's part of the story too. And we don't want to just cover the Tommy side, cover the haters. So let me show you how that went down. Take a look.
I'm Jessica Sventhiovsky for the Rebel Media. Here we are in Haywood, where Tommy Robinson is about to make his speech to the crowd. We have protesters on the other side of me, the little group over there. I did try and go over, but the police did stop me, but they said there is a possibility for me to go over when things settle down a little bit more. So I will keep you posted, and we'll try and go talk to them soon.
You are part of a tidal wave of patriotism that is currently sweeping the northwest of England. Every one of you.
Black and white, unite and fight, kick the racist out. Black and white, unite and fight, kick the racist out.
Why are you here today?
There's a bit of protest against Actually Leonard.
And Why protesting? Why?
This is a Nazi.
So what exactly has he said in the past to show that he is a Nazi?
Well, if you look, if you do your journalistic research, you'll see yourself. You know, you can. It's
black and white, unite
and it's just a Nazi.
Black and white, unite and fight. Kick the racist out.
Why are you protesting today?
Because we oppose fascism.
Is Tommy a...
The racists out! Black and white, unite and fight! Kick the racists out!
Who's the racist?
Unite and fight! Kick the racists out! Black and white!
I've seen a YouTube channel, Rebel Media. He's an Islamophobe. Why are you trying to portray him as anything other than being Islamophobic and hateful towards me and my community? Why are you trying to portray him as being anything else?
Is it racist to criticize Islam?
It's not racist to criticise Islam. What he's doing is he's creating an ethnic and religious nationalism.
Is it okay to throw milkshakes at people?
Sorry?
Is it okay to throw milkshakes?
No, it's not okay to throw milkshakes.
So why is he holding a milkshake over there?
Well, let's talk about what Tommy Robinson's talking about. I mean, Tommy Robinson's coming here to stir up hate in a community that's been left behind economically. Where's his solution to the austerity measures that have been going on for the last 30 years? Where's his solution to the NHS underfunding? Where's his solution to the housing crisis? I would ask those kind of questions because they're far more fundamental than when he was having an interaction with somebody in Bolton or Bury, I forget which place it was, but far more fundamentally is the politics that's being played out here.
So who's a politician that you support?
I would support Jeremy Corbyn. I support the Labour Party.
And why is that?
Because it's on the left, because it's progressive, because it's going to actually unify the working class for the benefit of the working class. This is disunity. This is divisive. We want unity. We want to build a better society for the benefit of everybody within it.
So why is Tommy a fascist and a racist?
Why is he? Because he is a racist. He doesn't like Muslims, we know. Go and listen to his hate speech. Anyway, I don't really want to...
Can I ask why you're protesting today?
No, you've already had that answer. I don't think you need any more information or material. I think you should leave now. You should leave. Go on. Do one.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Go away.
I just went over to the other side to ask some very simple questions to the protesters, as in why they're here.
I won't show you the whole thing. You can watch the rest of it on TommyReports.com. But I wanted to show you that for a few reasons, my friends. The first was because I think Jessica did a great job. Would you agree with me on that? And I haven't got the full bills from her campaign. We have a flight over there. We have the train from London to Manchester. We've got her Airbnb. We've got her taxis, and we've got her food. And obviously, we don't want her to be out of pocket. We are paying her a salary or a wage. But I should tell you, and I don't know if you can find on her Twitter feed the picture of the bodyguard? We hired a bodyguard, and we didn't really show this because we didn't want to identify him while the campaign was still on. I don't think I'm going to tell you how much we paid for the bodyguard because I just want to keep that private. But I can tell you that that was the single largest expense in her trip. It was more than the flight, and it was more than her Airbnb. And would you agree with me that it was needed? Would you agree with me? I mean, and those are a bunch of weak, soy milk drinking, old, in the main, laborites who weren't particularly aggressive, right? I mean, there was maybe a dozen of them there. That old man who was swearing at, yeah, look at this. So this is from Jessica's Twitter feed. Thank you to this guy. It's a pretty big guy. My bodyguard during my time in the UK kept me safe through riots and even took an egg for me more than once. And big thank you to everyone who was able to fund my personal security. If you want to help chip in, you can do so even if you make a super chat here. Google gives us 70% of the net. I haven't received the total expenses from Jessica's trip over there, but it would not surprise me if the total expense for her 2-week visit is about $6,000 or about £4,000, probably about $7,000 once security is taken into account. So if you want to help, we're 100% crowdfunded. You can do that with a super chat if you like. So the first reason I showed you that video was to show you what a great job she did. I thought she was doing a great job. Second is how fair she was. She wasn't quarreling with them, was she? She was asking the occasional supplementary question like, he's a racist. Oh, is it racist to criticize Islam? I thought that was a good follow-up question. Or he's a fascist. Why is he a fascist? And did you notice that in almost every case there, the other side said, well, he just is, like, that first gentleman, why is he a racist? Why is he? Well, if you did your journalistic research, hang on, mate, you're the one saying it, and you don't have any. You just say you prove the truth. Well, that's what she's doing. You do your journalistic research. Well, she's doing that by putting a microphone to you. You've come to a rally where you're saying he's a racist. So that means you have a public message to say. And guess what? A reporter is putting a microphone in front of you and is accurately going to portray what you have to say. And you say you don't know, or you do your own research. Well, no, mate. You're the one making the slander. Have you no basis at all? And that lady at the end, why is he a fascist? Because he is. Sorry, that's not even how that's maybe how someone who's like 8 years old talks. Why is he racist? Because he is. So that's not a because. That's just a restatement of things. Now the one guy, the young guy in the sweater there, was saying, he pivoted. He's a politician in training. He said, well, I can't really prove that he's a racist or a Nazi, so I'm going to pivot to talking about the NHS at the National Health Service and austerity and whatever. I got to tell you, I've known Tommy for a few years, and we probably had hundreds of conversations, and I've actually never talked to him about general fiscal matters. I honestly don't know where he stands. I know historically his family is Labour, so he might share those views, but it's just not in his list of important issues. His important issues are Brexit, the Islamification of society, the rape gangs targeting young Indigenous British girls, police corruption, the forgotten people. Yeah, so I suppose there's an economic aspect to it, but that guy tried. So I guess what I thought that was a great video, but it did not. The one thing that the video did not show is how threatening the rioters were, because that was just basically a dozen people. Half of them were seniors. So that was. In other cases, the police simply wouldn't let Jessica go to talk to the Antifa. Can you go back, Justin Martin, and find one of her first videos on Tommy Reports? I forget what city it was. It might have been Carlisle, where the policewoman says, you can't go here just because. Remember that one? It was like, I think like the third one she filed. So I thought that was very interesting. Let me read while my friends get the videos ready. Let me go through the super chats. Thank you for the super chats. Google lets us have 70% of the revenue, and we'll use it to keep going with our journalism on Tommy's story. Seti111 says soy shakes on me. Yeah, isn't that the truth? I think I've missed one or two. Let me scroll up and find them. I think my friends are going to email them to me because they've gone by while I was looking at the camera. I know I saw them come through, but I was just focused on talking there. So we'll show, I think it was in Carlisle. And, here we go. I got the super chats here. Active UK Patriot chipped in £2 and says, met Jessica, great reporter, you need to keep her, mates. Yeah, well, I think she's doing great. I'm going over to Manchester this weekend, and she will be on the election night show, just to be clear. So I'll be there in Manchester with Jessica. It'll be a live stream show starting at 9 p.m. Manchester time, which is 4 p.m. here on the East Coast of North America. We'll go for a 2-hour pre-game show. So we'll probably go through several of her videos. We'll talk about the campaign. I'll ask her what it was like. I saw her when I was in London at Tommy's trial at the Old Bailey, his hearing there, but I haven't obviously seen her. So I've talked to her on the phone since then, but this will be my first time seeing her. So I'll just get the story and I'll share it with you. Like, I'm not going to just ask her these things in private. I'm going to ask her these things with the live stream going. So I think it's going to be a really interesting show. She's really, we really did throw her in to the deep end, and I think she swam pretty well. Isles Barron chips in $1.99, says, oh, Tommy Robinson. Proud Boys Calgary, $7. Ezra, can you give a shout out to the Proud Boys lawsuit against the SPLC? By the way, Jessica did a damn good job. Buy her some beers. Right on, thank you. Yeah, the Proud Boys lawsuit against the SPLC, I thought it was just a Gavin McInnes lawsuit. I haven't read it, but I should. I know defendgavin.com is where he's crowdfunding his. I didn't know Proud Boys had its own lawsuit, but I'll have to brief myself on that. I talked to Gavin from time to time, and he's told me about the thing in general, but I admit I have not read through the statement of claim itself. I read the SETI 111. Thank you for that. I think I'm caught up on my super chats now. Okay. Do we have any? Okay, I want to show you just one more thing. I'm not going to spend more time on this, but I just want to show you. So I showed you what I thought was her most revealing interaction with the protesters. I think it revealed that they're pretty lame, that they really don't know why they hate Tommy other than they're just supposed to hate him. And I think it also shows, importantly, that Jessica was being very fair, very even-handed, and was not being antagonistic. Would you agree with me? Simply saying, and why's that? Why are you here? Why are you saying that? And why is that? Those are extremely basic journalistic questions. Those are human questions asked in a normal way. And the fact that they couldn't answer them, and that one old man later came up and swore at her, that's not even polite. Like, just why, and I think his wife was holding him back or something. What kind of a man, when he sees a young woman like Jessica, who's not being aggressive or offensive in any way, like she wasn't being mean. Like, she's much nicer than me, obviously. And she's very pleasant, as you can see. What kind of an old man just starts swearing at a girl and walking up to her aggressively? Like, that's, you can see why we needed the bodyguard. I'm not saying that old man would have hit her, but he certainly was aggressive. But you got that big bloke standing next to her, and I think, I mean, God forbid, I mean, who knows what would have happened had he not been there. I think just having a big bloke standing by and sort of looking growly probably saved her from some altercation. What do you think? I mean, it's insane that reporters need to hire bodyguards in the free world. The BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, The Guardian, they don't have to go out with bodyguards because they're not attacked by Antifa. That's so weird. The right doesn't attack left-wing journalists. Why would we? But the left, well, that's their move, the milkshaking too. Okay, there's some more super chats coming in. I saw one at least. Let me just read it here. MVP, I enjoy Jessica's coverage. I hope she stays. Yeah, me too. Listen, I mean, I'd love to have her. I think there's a lot more for her to cover, not just in the UK, but in North America too. There's really nothing as intense in journalism as covering a political campaign. Would you agree with me? Okay, the Carlisle vid. Do we have that one? I just want to show her interaction with that lady cop. Okay, here we go. Oh, we're having a bit of problem there. If we get that back, we'll show you. I just want to show you how the cops stopped her journalism for no good reason. Primpel 08 chips in $10, says they hate Tommy because the TV tells them to hate Tommy. They can't come up with reasons because the TV doesn't give them facts. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's that simple. Gary Klymos says, Ez, this $20 is paltry given the stellar, honest work you guys did during the campaign. The implications of you not being there are frightful in retrospect. Love Jessica. She's fearless and impartial. Solid principles. Yeah, thank you very much. I agree with you on that. Shane Smith from New Zealand, following from New Zealand. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Shane. Hopefully you'll continue to be able to follow us from New Zealand because I know, of course, they're moving very quickly towards censorship. Okay, we got that Carlisle clip. This is Jessica, very polite. You saw how polite she is. I don't think I need to make that case to you anymore. Now she's going politely to some Antifa, and a cop stops her. Take a look. I don't know. Yeah, just play it in there. Media cannot be played. Okay, well, if we can get, you know what, it doesn't matter. We could play that from the, can you play that from the Tommy Reports vid? Like you were playing that off Twitter, maybe that's the problem. Go to TommyReports.com and then scroll down. That would be, I think that's from Carlisle. I think that's the name of that town. So just go near the bottom. If you can get that back up, great. I want to show you, though, I want to take a very short break from the serious stuff, and I want to show you fun. You know what? I mean, Donald Trump won because of the memes, the comedy and the memes and grassroots people on the internet. And now that's why Silicon Valley got smart, because grassroots citizen journalists, citizen activists won Brexit in 2016. And the media sort of said, well, what's going on? And then the grassroots won it for Trump in November 2016. And so they clamped down on social media. And that's why they deplatformed Tommy. Can we show the Alexa thing? Do we have that handy? Because I just saw this on some social media. Actually, I saw this on Telegram. Have you ever heard of Telegram? Telegram it's really like a chat group. It's sort of like WhatsApp, but it's so politically neutral. They basically say, I think it's Russian engineers who fought with Putin and are based in Dubai or something, and they're totally encrypted. I think they have a $100,000 bounty if anyone can hack them. Like, they're so secure, and they're so not into political correctness. So Tommy Robinson and a lot of other, Paul Joseph Watson, Gavin McInnes, they're all on Telegram. And we're setting up a Rebel Telegram page, hopefully soon too. So I think I saw this on Telegram, but take a look at this. I thought this was funny. And it shows the kind of grassroots memes out there that Silicon Valley's tried to kill on Facebook and Twitter, but looks like Telegram might be a way. Take a look.
Alexa, who is Tommy?
Tommy Robinson is a member of the European Parliament. The establishment are frightened of Tommy, so lie to the people. He is a hero to the British people, and now the people of Great Britain are waking up and support Tommy Robinson.
All right, that's just a little funny thing. You got to admit that's funny. I love that accent. Oh, is Tommy? And then you got that Alexa voice. That just made me laugh. Mr. El Gordo chips in 25 Canadian. Thank you for that. Lark from Denmark. Keep up the good work. 50 Danish kroner. Thank you for that. We've got the Carlisle vid now. Okay, take a look.
Sorry? Can you just go back past the cordon of officers for me, please?
Can I talk to the protesters?
No, from behind the colleagues you can, yeah.
But I can't ask them a question?
From behind my colleagues there you can, yeah. We're just keeping the groups separately to prevent any issues.
I wouldn't be able to catch the audio from so far away.
Right, well, that's what we're doing. So if you can just go back behind my colleagues for me.
So I can't talk to the protesters?
You can talk to them from there, yeah. It's not fair to antagonise people from each line, so we're not letting them past us and we're not letting you past them. That's just
I'm not taking any sides. I'm talking to everyone.
I'm not suggesting you are. I'm just asking if you go past my colleagues. Okay, thanks.
Can you believe the cops in the UK? It's so bad. It's so bad. Don't get me started. D. Mihalaki, censorship is terrorism, achieving political goals through the use of force or threats. There's some truth there. Can I show you an ad that Tommy made? I think is it 6 minutes, that one? Let's check the clock here. It's 12:27. I'm going to show you a 6-minute ad. It's not an ad. It's a campaign video. Feels like an ad. So it's 6 full minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye and play this for 6 minutes and come back. But I want to tell you why I think you should watch all 6 minutes of it. Because it actually is a feeling for what it's like on the campaign. Now, as I say, I was not on the campaign other than I saw Tommy and his team for that one day on May 14th when I was at the Old Bailey. But I've been with Tommy in the UK a dozen times. And I've been on the road with him and I've seen the reaction from the crowds. And this is exactly what it looks like, exactly what it feels like, exactly what it sounds like. And this is a masterful editing job by Tommy's campaign. This was a campaign video they put out. In the background, you can't really detect it at first, but I think those are bagpipes, which is very subtle. There's so many interesting things here. There's a marriage proposal and acceptance. There's a lad talking about how he'll be disowned by his own family if he comes out for Tommy. There's so many interesting things, including excerpts from Tommy's stump speech. So this is more than 6 minutes long. And I hate to take myself off the broadcast for 6 minutes, but I really think this video was the best thing I've seen. I mean, I love Jessica's work, and I think we did great work, and Jessica's videos have been watched about 2.5 million times. I think that makes a difference, by the way, as some super chatter said. You have 2.5 million views of honest reporting during a campaign. That's going to make a difference, because the mainstream media didn't cover it honestly and fairly. I think you'd agree with me on that. So I want enough preamble. Watch this video. And you tell me, we'll come back to you in 6 minutes, you tell me if you found this as moving and as hopeful as I did. Here you go.
You're doing right. Go on, mate. You're doing right. Go on, mate. Yeah, right. Tom. How are you, bro? Cheers, man. How are you, mate?
Tommy looking at what?
Yes.
Champion me!
Oh, what? Yeah. What's your sound?
Let's start off remembering what date it is today. The 22nd of May. It's my son's birthday today. I'll start off on that one. It's my son's birthday. Happy birthday, babe. I love you. The 22nd of May is a date that everyone should remember. Lee Rigby was beheaded 6 years ago today. I remember in the weeks afterwards, David Cameron set up a government task force to combat and stop Islamic extremism. He had a 5-year plan. What's happened over those 5 years? 2,000 Muslims have gone out to fight for ISIS. We've seen multiple terrorist attacks. Terrorism arrests go up 60% every year. He's failed. Our government have failed. 2 years ago today, what happened in the beautiful city of Manchester? We witnessed our children attacked. Children from these cities were blown to pieces. People talk about those that died. We talk about the people who died on 7/7. 700 people lost their limbs on 7/7. Even the people that didn't die, their lives were changed forever in attacks against our country. So we just start off on a minute's silence, remembering all the victims. During the minute's silence, I heard their screams. I heard their screams of never again, never again. Never again, never again. They're on about the Holocaust. The visible Jews over here are standing with us. The Jews don't stand with Labour anymore. You're anti-Semitic. It's you that's anti-Semitic. I'm a proud. They're shouting never again. The Star of David flies in our crowd. There's no Star of David flying in yours. We are the proud. I proudly stand with Israel. When we win tomorrow, with your help, we send a message to working class people across this country that we can do it, that it's on, that the time is now, that this is our moment. Let the 23rd of May be remembered as the date it started. Let the British public know it started in the Northwest, and let them know that Salford was involved. It's happening. It's happening. It's in our DNA. It's who we are. We need to wake up as people and realise who we are. Remember our history. Remember who we are. Every one of you standing here, I know you're risking something being here. I know you've come out, you've made a commitment. There's one lad who's here today. There's one lad, and this is a perfect example of it. I'm going to ask him to come up, because my mum sends me videos, and she absolutely loves this lad's videos. This lad has been following me, and his mum has been, he's had problems at home, problems at work, been threatened to be kicked out of his house if he comes to one of my demonstrations. I know there's so many of you out there who have social problems for supporting me. So Matthew, get up here, because this is for my mum anyway. Come up here. You're coming up. Come on.
For too long, I have sat in fear in my own home, worried of what will happen to me if I decide to attend this man's rallies. And I was constantly threatened by my sister and my mother that if I were to attend these rallies, I'd be kicked out, but I attended anyway. I feel like we're on the verge of something big. I feel, and I say that because I travel this country, and I can tell you, that is the minority, this is the majority, yeah? I'm telling you.
A lady with a headscarf on. And I want to greet her in Arabic. Assalamu alaikum. I do not hate you. We do not hate you. Message tomorrow, come on! Come on! Come on! It's about time the people in this country let them know how you're feeling. It's no good shouting at the TV. It's no good moaning in the pub. This is your moment. It's your moment to send every single one of them a message. Send the government a message. Send the media a message. Send them all a message. Tell them tomorrow you stand on the side of freedom, you stand on the side of truth, and you stand on the side of Tommy Robinson. Come on!
For everyone
Oceans, man. Throw Oceans. They're my favourite.
Listen, look, I've got this made for you. Right, it's embroidered. This is good luck, Tommy.
Good luck, Tommy, our brave lion, our heroes give me soon. Go on.
Smile.
That's why we. I know. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it?
Yeah.
So much.
There's two there. There's one for now and one for when you get in your MEP one.
Okay.
You're definitely going to do
Well, I
it.
hope so. I love you. Well, I keep speaking confidently to drum people up.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're absolutely brilliant with you all the way.
Thank you, Tommy.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Tommy, do me a favour, mate. Ask Laura something for me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Will you marry him?
He's talking to you.
Yeah, you sure you don't want to marry him?
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Go on. Go on. Thank you, babe. Thank you.
I love you so much. So proud of you.
That's brilliant.
You're my boy.
Thanks.
And I'm so proud.
I hope I win this tomorrow, man.
That's good. I know you a lot of our friends.
Oh, that's it.
You're a king, man.
Cheers, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite line is, "Will you marry him?" Can you tell me of another election campaign that gets marriage proposals? Personally, I think that's an unusual place, time, and occasion to have a marriage proposal, but perhaps you're just welled up with emotions and pride and hope, and I don't know. I mean, and it's just a wonderful moment, and you just think, damn it, I'm doing it. And then asking Tommy to pop the question for you, will you marry him? I thought that was quite something. And I don't know, that's just such an interesting video, I thought. And the bagpipes there, I thought that was a very good reflection of at least part of the UK. I'd say it's the forgotten part, the forgotten people, as Tommy sometimes calls them. As Morrissey says, people that the fancy people say are nobody's nothings. I see some super chats coming through. Glenn Williams chips in a tenner. Thanks very much for that. Ian Henderson, £1. Thank you. Did you say that? £1? £1? Appleton Gallery, $3.99. You're doing great work, Ezra. Well, thank you. It's a team effort, and I think Jessica did a great job. I think I've caught up on the super chats. Let's check the clock. It's 12:37. Okay. Do we have that reporter milkshake part? I don't want a lot of it. I just want when the cop tells him to move along. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that what we're talking about? We're talking about the same thing? So there was this American reporter. I think he's with Breitbart. I'm not sure, but he's a Yank. He's not a Canadian. He's not a Brit. And he was at one of Tommy's events. Good for him. Good for him. I'm sorry, I don't even know his name. But good for him for going to see things with his own eyes. Don't you wish there were more of them? It's weird, would you agree with me, that you've got a reporter from Canada, Jessica. I'm from Canada too, obviously. And a reporter from the States, this fella. Where's the Brits? Like, don't you think that's weird? I have a friend in Manchester. He's a lawyer. And he said he was driving home and he saw 5 police vans. He didn't know what the fuss was about, and he looked. And there was a big Tommy rally, he said. Maybe it was this one we just saw there. And he said it was not in the Manchester Evening News, which is the newspaper of record. So this is a guy who came across just by randomly, he was on the street driving. And he said there was this whole big thing. And he was so curious, and he was curious of how it would be covered in the news, and it was just ignored. Look, even if you don't like the bloke, it's news. Tommy Robinson is news, and he's just blackout. I want to show you this Yank, this Brit, sorry, not Brit, this Breitbart reporter, but he's an American. Take a look at this.
Loads of rundown hospitals, loads of rundown housing. He's only here for a bit, and then he'll go.
I just got milkshakes. Yeah. There it is. Thank you. The tolerant left, everybody. The tolerant left.
I didn't set that up.
Yeah?
I didn't
You didn't set that up? No.
No.
Fair enough, sir. I believe you. So we went to go interview some people. We're actually having some pretty good conversations and got blindsided by a milkshake. Yep. That's lovely. That's lovely. Stars.
Out with the car park.
Ah, man, take care.
Just blaming the situation.
Ah, fair enough. I came to this.
Did you hear that cop? Did you hear the cop? Move on out. You're inflaming the situation. Did you hear him say that? He said it quickly. He said to move on out. You're inflaming the situation. That happy-go-lucky big gent from Breitbart, who couldn't have been more irenic, that's a word, comes from the word for peace. Irenic. That happy-go-lucky gent, you throw a milkshake at me, I'm not going to be that calm and amiable. He just sort of wiped it off, and he still had a smile on his face. And the cop not only did not look to make an arrest or even to caution the milkshake assaulter, but told the victim, and I'm not going to say he was a deeply wounded victim, but you're standing, like a cop is literally standing between you and a reporter, and you throw a milkshake at the reporter, the cop is 3 feet from you, but you know you can do it because you know the cop is on your side. And that wasn't even Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage or Carl Benjamin who was assaulted by the milkshake. That was some report, and I assume if he was with Breitbart, which I think he was, okay, I assume he's sympathetic to Tommy. But first of all, so what? Second of all, he's a reporter. So is the rule now, you can milkshake anyone that you don't like. And that's the rule, it's fairly evident, for Antifa and the hateful left and the Labour Party. But is that the rule for the police? Now, if there was a tinder box, if there was a riot that was pregnant, I could say, go away. You know, a milkshake assault that obviously didn't genuinely and deeply hurt a man is not worth a bloody riot where others... But that's not what the case was. It was gentle, it was calm, and the cop just couldn't be bothered. Move along, you're inflaming... I don't want you to inflame the situation. That is the policing in the United Kingdom, and we showed you on another episode how the police literally escorted masked Muslim youths holding bricks and rocks, escorted them to a Tommy Robinson rally in Oldham where a full-scale riot broke out. We showed you that video. Is it possible that you can find a tweet video on my account, probably last night I think it was, where a lady on the BBC mentioned the Oldham riots? So I think I would have tweeted that last night. If you can find that vid, let me know. Okay, I see some more super chats. Shane Smith, we already have armed police knocking down doors in New Zealand already for law-abiding people putting up videos expressing their views. Yeah, and the prosecution, the punishment for putting up videos of that sort is up to 14 years in prison. Analog IDC, thank you from Montreal. Well, thank you very much for your support. I will ask my team to let me know if I've missed some. The Thundertaker, around celebration milkshakes in Menk. Did you say Menk? Is that the short? Is Manch or Menk? I'll be there on Sunday, so yeah, I'm sure we'll have milkshakes. As you can see, you can just size me up, and I'm obviously a milkshake man. In Calgary, Alberta, where I'm from, I used to go to a place called Peter's Drive-Thru, and they had root beer flavored milkshakes. I don't think anyone else in the world likes root beer milkshakes, but they're great. I think it's been 20 years since I've had one, and I still miss them. As you can see, I've managed to find a substitute in the meantime. Glenn Williams, $10. I've already said hello and thank you to you. Okay, let's check the time. It's 12:43. We've got that vid. So I mentioned Oldham. Let me just give you one more background before I show you this vid. So Oldham, again in the Northwest, Tommy's got a family-friendly rally. Obviously, he's trying to woo people, win. But it's just like that campaign vid at the end where everyone's huggy and selfies and whatnot. So there's kids there. Even though it's not a kids-centric event, people bring their kids. And a group of Muslim activists calling themselves the Muslim Defense League come into Oldham from out of town. They don't live in Oldham. And they don't know where the rally is. So they land in the city, the train station. They don't know where to go. Police literally escort them to Tommy. Why would you do that? You saw how the police told that Breitbart reporter to scram. You saw how the police wouldn't let Jessica S. talk to the left-wing protest just because. But they physically escorted 100 plus Muslim Defense League thugs, all men, of course, to a Tommy rally where they proceeded to throw rocks, no arrests. So let me show you, someone managed to see that video of the thugs in Oldham and asked about it on BBC. Take a look.
Over 200 ferocious, angry gang of Asian men to a family rally that Tommy Robinson, the man I'm not allowed to mention, was holding the other day. They came with bricks, they smashed up windows, they smashed police cars, they terrorised children. It was all one-sided, it was not reported by the police, no one was arrested. The police walked them from over a mile and a half away to the rally carrying weapons. This guy is so demonised and lied about that we're not allowed to mention him in spaces like this. Is it the man in the pink top?
Just
March.
two things there.
Manchester Police march.
Two things there. First of all, it's very interesting that she saw that news because there was the only place to get the facts that she got those were online. We did a video, Tommy did a video, a couple of other YouTubers did videos. So it's very interesting. She's at a BBC event, but she gets her news from non-BBC sources. Second of all, good for her for having the courage to put it to the BBC like that. I thought she summed it up very well, better than I did. But I don't know if you saw there, they didn't engage, they didn't answer, they just very quickly moved on to the next one. And so I've had a number of people say, well, who won the election? And of course the answer is we don't know yet. We won't know until Sunday night, but the Rebel's the place to be on Sunday night to find out. We'll have our live stream at 9 p.m. Manchester time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. People say, well, who's going to win? Who do you think's going to win? Can you make a prediction? Are there polls? You know, in the UK, they have all these betting shops. There's storefronts, Ladbrokes, Paddy Power. I don't know if they have those things in America. I haven't seen them as ubiquitously here in Canada. Like you're just on a high street in London, you know, you got a restaurant, you got a barber shop, and you got something called Ladbrokes. What's that? You go in and you bet. You can bet on anything, any sports event, and they even let you bet on politics. It's like betting. They're crazy about. They love the betting, and so they have all these odds. So I asked Ladbrokes. I said, "What are your odds on Tommy?" And they said, I'm going from memory here, so correct me if I'm wrong. They said 7-4, and they explained to me because I'm a Canadian. They said that means if you bet $4 and you're right, you get 7 back. So they said that's a 36% chance of winning. They explained it for me because I'm slow. And I thought, well, you know, 36% chance of winning, that's not bad. Like, that's not a favorite. It's not a favorite. But that's not bad. So then I checked with Paddy Power. I think I'm saying that right. It's another odds maker. And they gave him, again, I'm going from memory, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 to 5 odds, which, if memory serves, that's 45% chance. Which makes sense, right? 5/11ths. You got a 45% chance of winning? That's almost even odds, as they say. So Ladbrokes and Paddy Power are not in the business of being ideological. If you're an emotional bettor, you're going to be taken to the cleaners, am I right? They are cold-blooded. And if you believe that Tommy's going to win, you better be able to put your money where your mouth is. And so Ladbrokes and Paddy Power, Ladbrokes says 36% chance of winning. Paddy Power says 45% chance of winning. Now, on what basis are they saying that? Is that just their mathematical balance point for all the bettors, pro and con? I don't know. I have no idea. But that tells me the lad's got a chance, don't you? Don't you think? Online Retro says, please look into the 2008 circular email sent to the heads of police from Labour to not investigate the rape gangs. All right, that's interesting. I have not heard of that. It's not, I received a private note today, and I don't think I'm in a position to share it, but I don't want to disclose it because it's not for me to disclose. But it's from someone who was counting votes with a different party. And I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to show it to you. this is a counter, someone who is counting votes, that they believe that Tommy could come in 7th. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to read the note. So this is not a guess or a hunch. This is from being in a district where counting was done. There's like dozens of districts in the region of the Northwest. And I'm not even going to refer to that note anymore because I don't have permission to do so. Now you say come in 7th, you're getting crushed, you know. No. Remember. There are 8 slots that are open. Do you have the image of, Martin, do you have the image of the ballot? It doesn't matter. I'll just describe the ballot. Do you want me to email it to you? He's got it? So the ballot, I'll send it to you. So the ballot is, I've looked at the ballot. I'm going to try and dig it up here. We got 10 minutes left. Let's see how fast I can do this. The ballot's in. I want to show it to you. Will you permit? I'm sorry I'm not organized. I didn't think I was going to show this. So let me just dig it up, and I'm going to send it to my teammates, and they'll put it up on the screen. So there are 73, I'm going from memory, 73 members of the European Parliament who are being chosen across the UK. The European Parliament itself has 751 seats, which is absurd. How can you have a debating chamber with 750? It just doesn't even make sense. I mean, imagine if everybody spoke for just 5 minutes. I'm going to send this to you, Justin. Imagine if everybody spoke for 5. That's 5 minutes times 750 people. That's not a debate. It's unwieldy, and I think that's the point. So that the politically elected MEPs are really pointless. All the decisions are made by the unelected, unaccountable, unknown permanent bureaucrats. Would you agree with me? That having a 751 person parliament doesn't even make any sense. And then add to the fact that, well, it doesn't make sense in another way too, because the United Kingdom is supposed to be an independent country. And yet, it only has 73 out of 751 seats in the European Parliament. So automatically, in advance, you know for a certainty that you'll never win a vote. So France and Germany and whoever can pass laws in Brussels, Belgium, that have the force of law and effect in the UK. No wonder they voted for a Brexit. Anyways, too much background. My point is, in northwest England, that's Manchester and these other towns we've shown you, Oldham, Carlisle, places that I've never visited. I've been to Manchester, obviously. I've been to Salford, obviously. So there's not 73 little districts in the UK. They've broken it into chunks. You got southeast England, you got northwest England. So Tommy's running in northwest England. Manchester is the main city. But there will be 8 MEPs chosen from northwest England. So it's not just the first person with the most votes who wins. It's the first, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the 8th. And so you do not need 51% of the vote to win. Now, you never do in a first-past-the-post system. In America, when you have a two-party system, typically your president gets 51%. Often, Republicans, Democrats, it's the only action, so you're going to get 51%. But in a place like Canada, parliamentary system, we have more than 2 parties. It's actually rare for the winner to have 51%. In the UK, just for these UK members of the European Parliament, did you get that okay? Yeah, you got it. Okay, can you zoom in? I wonder if it's possible to zoom in on that thing. Not really? Okay, I'm going to open it up on my screen because I can't quite see that clearly there. But have it there, and I'll explain. Could you put it, or if you can do your best to open it up. I just want to show people what the ballot looks like. So it says vote only once by putting, so that's what it says, vote only once. I'll just tell you, yeah, good, thanks for zooming in. Vote only once by putting a cross in the box next to your choice. Okay, thank you very much. So let's look through this. So Change UK, or as Paul Joseph Watson calls them, the Cuck Party. That's what changed you. So that's some breakaway leftists. Then you've got the Conservative and Unionist Party. Then you've got the English Democrats. You've got the Green Party. You got the Labour Party and the Rose. You got the Liberal Democrats. You got the Brexit Party, that's Nigel Farage's new party. You've got the UK European Union Party. I have never heard of that. You've got UKIP. That's the party that Nigel Farage used to be with, that Gerard Batten leads. Then you got two independent candidates. You got Mohammed, I think that's Aslam or Alam, Aslam. Mohammed Aslam. He's running as an independent. And then at the bottom, because it's in alphabetical order, Robinson, Tommy. Now, of course, his legal name is Stephen Yaxley. Thanks, you can take that down. His legal name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, but you are allowed under UK law to run on a ballot under the name by which you are known, which is very powerful. So he's known as Tommy Robinson. So Tommy Robinson is on the ballot. So you see, what was that, 12? I think that's 12 different, let me just count there again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 10 parties, all right? And 2 independents. So Tommy has to place in the top 8. Now, I just want to say one more thing. Let's say the Brexit Party gets 40% of the vote. It's quite possible. They are going to get more than 1 seat. Now, every ballot is just marked once, but I'm not even going to try and explain the vote counting system. It'll take me too long to do it. But what they do is they say, okay, who's got the most votes? They get the first seat. Then they chop that vote number in half, and then they say, okay, now who has the most votes? It could still be that first place party, but probably not. It'll probably be the second place party. If it's the second, then they chop that vote in half and say, okay, who's the third place? So they have this system, I think it's called the D'Hondt system, you can Google it. That's how they choose it. So they keep working their way down. The first place party can win a second or a third or a fourth seat. I don't know enough about Northwest England. I'm going to guess that the Brexit Party is going to come in first, and they might get 2 or 3 of the 8. I'm going to guess that Labour's going to come in second, and they might get 2 or 3 of the 8. It's possible for them both to get 3. I think the Conservatives might not even get 1. They'll probably get 1. And who knows? I mean, you saw some of the other parties. Tommy could win with as few as 8.5% of the vote. And why do I say that? Because I have studied the election results in Northwest England for 8 MEPs in the last 2 elections, 2014 and 2009. And in each of those elections, the 8th place finisher won with less than 10%. In one election it was like 9 and a bit, in the other it was an 8 and a bit. Why am I giving you so much detail? Because I'm saying that rumor, I'm going to just call it a rumor that I just read to you, was that Tommy was in 7th, at least in one region, one district. I shouldn't have told you that because you're going to say Tommy's in 7th. No, that's just one counter in one place. And I don't want to get my hopes too high, you know? I don't want to be dashed. I'd rather have a pessimistic approach and be amazingly pleasantly surprised than to be overconfident and dashed. You know what I mean? I think it's in these crazy days, it's probably always better to be a pessimist. I see a new super chat. Gordon Brown told police not to invest in Muslim rape. That's Rob Henderson for £2. 2008. I'm looking at the notes here. Thank you for this. Online retro on regards to the Labour 2018 email. Please check Secret Sources YouTube channel. It's titled Heads Must Roll. That's 2008, you meant to say. Okay, I will look at those things. Thank you. So what's my point? Let's just check the time here. It's 12:59. I got to go. It's Friday. I thank you for watching with me. I thank you for the compliments on Jessica's work. I'll pass it on to her. I know she looks at the feedback, so I know she's received your kind wishes. Thank you for those of you who chipped into a super chat. I haven't got the expenses from that trip yet, but I know that security is going to be the biggest cost of that. Oh, I see a super chat here. Noel Campbell, $5. Burger King should be sued like other manufacturers of instruments of acts of violence. You're right, and because Burger King exhorted people to buy their milkshakes to milkshake people. Let me close this way, because we got to go in 1 minute. Number one, thanks for your support. We're crowdfunded, so I appreciate it. Number two, would you agree with me that Jessica did a great job in the UK? I know you would, because her videos have been seen 2.5 million times collectively. Number three, would you agree with me that probably made a difference? I do. As my friend in Manchester said, he couldn't get the news in the Manchester Evening News. He had to see with his own eyes because reporters weren't reporting. But people who watched The Rebel got the reports. I am flying to Manchester, and on Sunday night I will have a 3-hour show with Jessica, the two of us, and we'll do our best to incorporate other elements, videos, stories. I'll ask Jessica, I'll interview her how it goes, and hopefully Tommy will make an appearance. I get the feeling he will. In fact, I've asked him to, and he said yes. So that's on Sunday night. So if you're, because I know what's going to happen. You're going to be saying, who's won? Give me the news, give me the news, give me, where do I go for the news, where do I go for the news? And the answer is you can't go anywhere, right? Is the Manchester Evening News going to give you the news? No. They're going to give you a bunch of lies. Now, at the end of the day, they'll probably tell you the accurate result of the election. I don't think they would lie about that. But you're going to go to them for commentary, you're going to go to them for context, you're going to go for them for anything else. They're liars. Or as my friend in Manchester said, they will often just ignore a story if they don't like the protagonist. So I'm excited. I've been to Manchester a few times with Tommy, and I'm going to do this 3-hour election night special. So I really encourage you to join, and I hope you do. It'll just be on YouTube, so if you're a YouTube subscriber, you should get a notification. Just click subscribe and then click that little bell. That'll make sure you get it. All right, folks. Well, listen, thanks for spending the last hour with me. I have to go and do some other things, and then frankly, I have to get ready to head over to the UK. On behalf of all of us here at Rebel World Headquarters, to you in the United Kingdom and around the world, goodbye, and keep fighting for freedom.